This book, Split Decisions, man. I mean, first of all, it's an awesome book. What was it like for you hooking up with Spike and putting this book together, man?
Well, it started like this. Spike came home. Spike was basically my crimey. Before all this Ice-T shit happened, I was just like all the rest of us. Well, not all the rest of us, but a lot of us out in the streets. Oh, my dog, calm down. I got bulldogs here. They said,
It's all
Go
good.
dogs, go dogs, go dogs.
yeah. Coco made a mistake and gave him something to eat when she put him in their little kennels. Anyway, long story short, my boy was with me in the streets, and basically, when I decided I was done with it, he decided to continue. You know how hustlers say, I need a little cash chest. I need a war chest. I'll quit as soon as I got 100,000 or I need 300,000 or whatever the number is, then I'll stop.
Yeah.
And he went for that a couple more licks and ended up getting a life sentence. And he ended up doing 26 years on the life sentence. And when he came home, like any other guy out of jail, he's like, I want to write a book. And I'm a cold nigga. I said, nigga, ain't nobody really want to hear no book from nobody in penitentiary. Every other brother been to the penitentiary. I mean, what's going to make your book special? And I thought about it because I wanted to help him. I wasn't just trying to kill his dream, but I'm like, you know what makes you special? Me. You had a friend that was side by side with you day in and day out. And I took one route and you took another route. That's a story right there. And so I called Kenny. I knew Ken was working with Bootsy. And he told me, you know, I'm in publishing, Ice. I'm doing books with rappers and people from the streets. So I called Kenny. I said, what do you think about this idea? He said, man, I think this is phenomenal, man. I think this could be a big one, man, because a lot of people need something inspirational that shows them that they can make it, you know, from where we both came from. And so Kenny and I got together. We went up to Simon and Schuster. Kenny can tell you what happened to Simon and Schuster. What happened up there?
Hey, man, Ice-T went up there. He gave the spiel. It was so crazy, man, because it was a bunch of white women, you know, kind of older white women, you know, conservative, one white dude. And Ice-T got to talking, man, and they just went crazy, man. It was like, I mean, I never seen someone make a pitch deck like that. It was like, you know, that's why I said, I see how he got all these $1 million deals and how he been with Law and Order for 24 years and how he got to New Jack City, because Ice-T is the consummate salesman. I'm talking about he really know what he's doing, man. And it's good to see your friend, somebody that you've been knowing for over 25 years, in different rare form. It was a rare form, and I'm pretty sure he seen me in rare form, but it was good. Ice-T said something very valuable after we left that meeting. Ice-T said, Ken, it's okay to have a friend, but it's good when you and your friends get money together.
Come on now.
It really is. And at the end of the day, pimping is pimping, you know, and whether I'm talking to somebody in the street or I'm talking to an executive, basically, I'm using my charisma and my belief in myself to sell them. When people make deals, a lot of times they're not making a deal on what you're selling. They're betting on you. They're looking at you and saying, is this a winner or is this a loser? And if you have some wins under your belt, it helps because they go, well, he's done it before. We don't want to miss this tag. He might do it again. So I went in there and just told them the story, but they were very interested in it. They wasn't really looking for no gangster book. They wanted a book that was motivational and could help people. And I think we all know as Black people, we can always push the negative, but when we can twist it and get something positive out of it, it's better for us and it's better for our culture, you know? So we got the idea. Then I went ahead and I got my writer, Doug Century, who wrote my other book. He's a criminal writer. He wrote a book on El Chapo. He wrote The Last Boss of Brixton. He writes for real gangsters, real criminal shit. So he understands the lingo and the life. And we put the book together.
When you think about those split decisions, though, Ice, do you think it was the grace of God, your instinct, or was it because you became too famous to steal that got you out the game and saved you?
Well, Too Famous to Steal was one of the chapters in the book. You obviously read it. And that was a moment where I just still thought I could do some bullshit. And I went out and I was messing with a stolen car. And I got surrounded by kids who wanted autographs in the middle of this lick. And I'm like, oh shit. But I forgetting I've been on Breaking, I've been in some movies, and they saw my face. See, crime, you have anonymity. No one knows who you are. I just did this podcast where I said anything that's illegal should remain a secret. So when you're doing crime, who did it? Oh, little Loco did it. Who is he? Nobody knows that nigga's name is Clarence. That nigga, it's like you have. I got friends today, grown ass men. I don't know their real name. I do not know their whole full name. We Black. You know what I'm talking about. You don't know their whole real motherfucking name. That's the reason we did that. That was, we were living on aliases our whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I came into this fame, yes, it became apparent to me that those days are over. And you got to pick one. You got to pick fame or infamy. And they're two polar opposites.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be in the criminal world, you don't deal with square people because they will turn you in. You can't deal with squares. And if you become a square, you don't deal with criminals. You can't cross the line, one or the other. Make a choice and then become a professional at whatever that is. If you think you want to be the ultimate gangster and live it out like that, well, then you gotta understand what that lane really is. You can't talk to your square partner about selling drugs. It doesn't compute to them. And you might dry snitch your way into prison like that. So anyway, yeah, as the opportunities came, but also, player, my friends were going under at an alarming rate. Cats I looked up to were getting life sentences. Cats I thought were bosses were going out on their own drugs. So the game started to dissolve for me. I'll say it dissolved. When I was in my 20s, it looked so great. But as I got older, I started to see the cracks in it. And I wanted out. There's a line in Superfly where Priest says, man, I got to get out of here. Got to get out of the game before I got to ice somebody or one of these motherfuckers ices me. Because it's always headed that way.
Yeah.
And when hip hop came, man, it was just a way. It was a chance. It was an opportunity. And I was ready for it, man, because I didn't believe ego-wise that I was going to pull off the invincible gangster role. I figured my days were numbered in low digits.
When you stopped hustling and you went broke, making that transition into hip hop, what was that like? And what was it that kept you motivated with hip hop, being that it was in its early stages at the time?
My friends that were still active would help me. They saw, some of them saw my vision. And as I started to come back on the rap tip, rap started to pick up. And some of my player buddies, like there's a falsehood in the hood that says the ghetto does not want to see anybody get out. That's bullshit. Like if you're in a gang and one of the guys can play basketball, that gang will say, man, why are y'all fucking with that? Go in the gym, nigga. Like, you don't belong here. You dig? So even in a negative environment like that, if they see you got promise, the real cats will push you in that direction. I'm not lying. They will. They'll say, "What? Come on." So in a way, they're saying we can't do nothing else, but you could do something else, player. Why don't you do that? Yeah. So as I started to push the rap shit, a lot of my homies that were still hitting licks coming up, they come through. They hit me off a little something here and there. Man, stay down, Ice. Stay down. We got you, baby. We love you. But there were moments when you can relapse. There's moments, let's talk about Spike right now. Spike has been out of prison 7 years. He is working at a hospital. He has a wife and a kid. He's not making a lot of money right now, This is a nigga that can go and snap his fingers and get $1 million. He knows how to do that, but he is not doing it. He just says, I can't do it. I prayed to God so many times that I would get out of prison. I mean, if I do it, I know I'm cheating God. I'm out. So but those moments where you think about it, they come. They definitely come. And on another note, a lot of times in this life, the old Ice-T ways have always had to be addressed. You know, I done had niggas say crazy shit out of pocket, do wild shit. And the old Ice-T will knock on the motherfucking front door, bring the beef to you like Chinese food, nigga. I'll come pop up, nigga. Like, what's happening? But them days is over. So my boys got to say, nigga, let that shit pass. Let that shit pass. Now I'm way, way, way more relaxed. Now I'm it's been so long now. But when you first coming out of that, you still in the street shit and you address shit like street niggas do.
Ice-T, this is one of your biggest fans, Wicked from Ghetto Mafia from Decatur, Georgia. I want you to know that talking to you today is an honor for me, first of all.
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you. Right now, I don't know that if you know that there is a growing population of fans, podcasters, different personalities that are blaming hip hop for the crime in the hoods, the Black community, where we are right now. And my question to you, as being a pioneer and a legend, one, do you feel that is true? And two, where was the community before guys like you made rap popular? Was the crime still high? Were we in the same position? Or have we regressed since, you know, the new era of rappers have taken over?
Nah, I mean, let's be honest. The reason for crime in the neighborhood is poverty.
Absolutely.
That's what I've been screaming.
That's the reason. The reason is poverty. People don't steal in the wealthy neighborhoods because they got money. You know, now how do you change the trajectory of poverty? That's the big question. You know, but when you have so many people living on the, you know, and beneath the poverty level, I think right now the poverty level is something like under $40,000 a year. You got people that are making under $20,000 a year, you know, less than $1,000 a month. You dig? So poverty will have the rich man stealing if he feels it. You know, when things get bad, people start coming up with other options. You know, ain't no way you're gonna get me to break the law right now. I got money. It's two psychological things. Now, the music is the soundtrack to the bullshit. So if everybody's out here hustling and robbing, there will be music that matches that mentality. I think rappers get mad when they go, oh, you little rich white kids that live on yachts and play polo doing gangster rap, get the fuck out of here. This is not your life. That's not your life. And as Black people, we say that's not your life. Now, does that music promote the situation? Possibly. Possibly, because if I'm a drill rapper and I'm thinking about, you know, my ops and all that shit, I'm really singing to the soundtrack of the life I'm living. But the music isn't, it's like the question is, does art imitate life or life imitate art? I think art imitates life. The rappers from the South sing about the life of the South. The rappers from the North, it's different. Now, the gangster that I added to it wasn't so much, it was the difference where you had the politically, the people that were asking for help, right? Help us, you know, let's get the community together. The gangster that me and NWA added to, like, fuck it, we done asking, motherfucker. We ready to go get this, all right? It was that kind of gangster, okay? It wasn't so much about, if you listen to the music, I did, And it wasn't so much about selling the drugs. It wasn't so much about that. It was just more about the aggression that was going on amongst gangs and this. And then I think when Public Enemy came out, they made us all know we had to put a little bit more knowledge into our raps. KRS-One, Scarface, and all of us. But I think that complaint that the music is what's spearheading the drama in the streets is bullshit. Because where I come from, motherfuckers want to go do a drive-by, they'll put Whitney Houston on and do a fucking drive-by.
Right.
They not, that music ain't got shit to do with the reason this violence is going on. The violence is going on over money, drugs, territory, and poverty.
Right.
That's what the violence is all about. It's not about the music. It's about, I mean, there are some dumb rappers out there shooting each other over, oh, you said something on Instagram or some bullshit like that. But one thing about social media, though, I want to say, social media inflames everything.
Yeah.
It inflames everything. So, Wick, if me and you had beef and we exchanged words, the only two people would know it would be me and you or whoever was in the room, right?
Gotcha.
Now, if you go on the internet and now bring it out, 1 million people know it, right? Now, I almost feel like I gotta do something now because you now taken what was small and made it big.
Big, right.
If
Gotcha.
if a little girl in school is getting bullied by 1 or 2 people, that might be a small problem. But if they do it on the internet, they feel the whole school knows and they commit suicide. So this internet is a megaphone of negativity and positivity. It wasn't here when we were born. We were all, it happened since we've been alive, but it's a new fucking machine that is dangerous because it amplifies shit. And unfortunately, people are into bad shit. People get into the negative shit. But hip hop to me, and finally, answer your question, hip hop to me has done far, far, far more positive for the world than negative.
I agree 1,000%. I'm glad you said that. One more question I have for you. I was looking at an interview of you recently, and you was kind of talking about your highs of doing the Grammys to right after that, your lows of losing, one of your best friends. Talk to us about, one, the high of the Grammy, and then having to go right from that to losing a dear friend of yours, the emotional swing.
One thing I try to tell everybody is that, there's these moments when you are happy. I mean, I go to the club sometimes, I see people celebrating. I'm like, what the fuck are they celebrating? Like, it's Tuesday night. They probably ain't got no job. Why are they out so goddamn late? I'm like, what are they celebrating? That being said, me on my old man bullshit, when you are having fun, when you are in that moment, when you're having fun and you're laughing with your family, with your kids, suck that shit up, man. Enjoy it. Don't feel guilty for it because pain is coming. Wow. Pain is guaranteed. It's guaranteed. If you get to live to 100, Wicked, guess what?
Wow.
You get to see all your friends die.
Wow. That's powerful.
Wow. So pain is coming, man. We're going to lose friends. We're going to lose family. It's rough. So those moments when you're really happy, if you really think about it, it's rare. It's rare. You could have a good day, but I'm talking about really happy. Like when you really are feeling it like, wow, I did something. And that's rare, man. So you got to take advantage of that. And that week when I was at the Grammys, I was having a good time, man. It was like going out there, seeing my peers, rocking the Grammys, getting good response from my performance. Everybody loved it. I had my birthday, then went out and got the star. It was like an Ice-T week. Everybody's in, no negativity. Nobody, oh, fuck Ice-T. Everybody like, yeah, Ice deserves this. Yeah, I love New Jack City. Yeah, that's my nigga. Died. Bam! Woke up one morning, my man had died from the show. And it just hit me like, man, I had that week, but here it is, back to reality. I always tell people, Wicked, I say, my life is great, provided I don't pick up the phone.
Wow.
Because 9 times out of 10, it's some bullshit on the other end of that line. And it's cold, man. But when you are having fun, man, really enjoy it, man. Because pain. One of my quotes is, "Love in life, love is not guaranteed, only death."
Wow, wow. Now you have a podcast that I'm getting ready to subscribe to. It's called is it The Daily Game?
Yes. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what's gonna go on there. You gonna, for young players like me, are you gonna give me some game every day that I can put in my tactical toolbox and apply out here in the streets?
Hey, it's quotes from people like Kenny Ivey. It's quotes from people that I've run into, Bishop Don Magic Juan. I'm quoting Aristotle. I'm quoting just, players love to have, like you say, a toolbox full of jewels, And on Twitter, I'm at Final Level on Twitter. I would post them every day because I said on Twitter, I want something to make people come back every day. Mm-hmm. And I call ice cold facts too. So, players, we call them jewels because when somebody says something fly, you go, that's a jewel. I need to hold on to that, Right. So, yeah, it's on Spotify. It's called Ice-T's Daily Game. They're only like 3 minutes long, but they come on every day. So you get some fly shit. Like, if it seems like you're going in circles, it's probably because you're cutting corners, man.
I would just want to say, man, you said something about triumph and you talk about the fall through. So I was looking at, we was looking at the Boosie documentary. We're doing one on YouTube, the making of autobiography. That's
yes, sir.
One of the strategies that we have with Simon & Schuster to actually document the whole process. So Boosie talked about cancer. He had a murder charge and he had a death penalty. Can you talk about it as it relates to Boosie from your perspective, that triumph coming from all of that and then getting out and becoming a mogul?
When you're in a situation like that, you fighting for your life, whether it's cancer or anything, and you get a second chance, you got to make good on that second chance. And a lot of times it takes a near-death experience for you to realize that you're alive and you have options, I was in a car accident and almost died, and made me realize, man, look, man, nigga, that was your whole life right there. And you hadn't done shit. Wow. So when I was selfish. Hustling is selfish. You just trying to outdo other niggas. It gets real weird if you really break it down, But I was when I see somebody like Bootsy, I just see somebody who had a close call with it being over, And now he's back. He's outspoken, but I'm sure he's making different decisions right now. And you just have to, man. The book Split Decision. They say we make 3,000 decisions a day. Yeah. 3,000 decisions. Like right now, I might need to pee. Should I get up and pee or should I finish the interview? These are decisions. Even if it's things, should I say this? Should I say this or should I keep it to myself? These things constantly click in our head. And I think Bootsy right now is smarter. He's wiser. And God bless him, man, because we lose too many of us too soon, by bad decisions too early. And sometimes you don't get a second chance, So, that's one of the reasons I walk such a straight line, because I know I got away with a lot of shit. And I'm just trying to, somehow give a little redemption back and give back what are you giving back? I'm trying to give back some of my knowledge to pay my debt.
Did you know that 95% of the decisions that we make is unconscious? So what that means is that a lot of the things that we do, it be unconscious. Like they said, never let your emotions supersede your intelligence. What a lot of people do is they allow their emotions to supersede their intelligence. In the case of John Blunt was a financier. He was back in the 1800s. He had this company, and this company, it was called the C Company. And what he did was he got a lot of people to invest in this company, like Bernie Murdoch did, the Queen of England, all of the bankers, all of the people that was in stock, they all invested in John Blunt Company. but it was a guy by the name of Sir Isaac Newton, you know, the guy that theory of relativity, and he basically, you know, he was able to plot the moons and the stars. You know, he's seen all of the money that people was making from this guy John Blunt. It was even one lady, she was a maid at one time, so they had a Shakespeare like type play, and she was in the balcony, and the lady that she used to work with was in the audience. She said, "How did you get up there?" Well, she invested in John Blunt. So John Blunt eventually attracted Isaac Newton. So Isaac Newton eventually invested in a company, and he had a multiple of 3. So he made 21,000 out of his 7,000 pounds that he invested. But he was a smart man. He said, what goes up must come down. But the money kept coming. Then he reinvested in John Blunt Company. A month later, he lost everything. The smartest man on the planet in his 70s. Now he finds himself in poverty, you know, dead broke. And his thing was, he said, it's crazy how we allow ourselves, you know, to make emotional decisions when we are rational beings. But we very rarely use that rationale. So we make irrational decisions, which is an emotional impulse. So basically what he was saying, you know, is that I understand how people can study science, anthropology, biology, all of the ologies. He said, but we rarely study human nature. And that's human nature. So 95% of the things we do are unconscious. We don't even know we're doing it because, you know, you got different levels. You know, emotion is right here and reason is right here. They're not in the same category. They're not in the same area. Give you a prime example, and I know this your interview, I'm gonna close. So if I seen an ox, you know, one of the biggest, strongest species, right? You know, we always say strongest an ox. And I put a pistol at that ox and I'm a hunter and I hit that, and that ox, I'm pointing at his head. The ox don't have the reasoning faculties to say, Ken or Ice-T finna hunt me and I'm finna become some oxtails. You know, we'll become oxtails. And then if you put a lion and you take a cow and you cut the cow in half and you put the half of the cow in the blood from the cow and the lion smell the cow, the lion be like, you know, and then he know he's trying to scare the cow, let him know that he's coming. But at the same time, you know, it's a cage. The cow is in a cage. The lion don't have the reasoning faculties to know that as soon as he go into that cage, he's gonna become somebody's zoo animal.
Right.
That's what we have to, you know, learn to do, is we have to learn to sit back and just relax. One of the things they teach you in psychology, when I took the IQ test, they got this thing that you take. It's a little thing you got to draw. You got to connect all the dots. No one hardly ever get the dots connected, Ice. The only way you connect, you got to go outside the box and then come back into the, that's the only way you connect the dots. Sometimes you can never see the box. If you can never see what's, if you're in the box, you can never see the label. If you're in the picture, you can never see the frame. You know what I'm saying? If you're in the picture. And I think what we have to do, you know, because all of us are criminals. And what I mean that we all have the ability to be criminal. You said one of the things that you said earlier, you said when a person, the reason why people's poor because of crime. So all of us, if you take
because of poverty.
So if you take a person from Wall Street and you put them in an environment where poverty persists, that person gonna find out that he have a lot of tendency for crime that he didn't even know exists. He's gonna come up with all kinds, he gonna just get the pistol, he gonna become a criminal. So a lot of us is criminal. The only thing about the difference between criminal and a person like yourself, in the case of your Spike, is that Spike didn't have delayed gratification. You got delayed gratification. You know, if you go and you work at Law and Order, you do your script and you gotta do your reading, and eventually you're gonna get your check, you know. And so that's what I think is reasoning and emotion, you know. And in conclusion, I know this is gonna be real good for your audience, Beehive. This some real game, y'all. Listen.
Come on with it.
You got the IQ test, what I just talked about, right? That's intellectual quotient. But you got EQ. You know what EQ is?
Emotional
quotient. A lot of people fail the emotional quotient, you know, and some people do better on the intellectual quotient than they do on the emotional quotient. So the key to the thing when it comes to crime and it comes to any decision is learn how to govern your emotions, or you won't, otherwise you're gonna be oxtail, or you're gonna end up being somebody's lion in a cage.
One of my things, I agree 110% with you, Kenny. One of my things I've always said is if I cannot control myself, how can I expect to control things around me? How can I get mad at anybody that works for me? How can I get mad at anybody? And the hardest person to control is yourself. Dedication is being able to keep a promise to yourself. And how many times can you stick on that diet, or how many times you slack up going to the gym? And this is something that you did to yourself. And that emotional thing, let me tell you, if you ever wanted to kill somebody, I've wanted to kill people before. I mean, I really had a point where I was like, I'm about to put this nigga away. That's all emotional. That's all emotional. It's not technical. You're not getting your money back if you kill them. It's just emotional. You feel that they did you wrong, or they hurt you, or something like that. Now, yeah, I'm still capable of it. If somebody ever touched my daughter, I'm gonna put on the jumpsuit and on the way there, you know what I'm saying? And I'll be ready to sit it out for the rest of the way out. But some things I was emotional about didn't deserve me doing a life sentence. You understand? Right. Let that one go, you know, because you have to separate your emotions. And sometimes that takes time. You need to cool down. You know, I remember when I first got my wife, she was like, you don't get mad. And I said, no, I don't get mad. I like to get even, but I don't really like to get mad. I said, I let a lot of shit go. And she didn't understand it. So then one time something happened, and I said, all right, I'm gonna get mad. And she couldn't talk to me for 2 days. And then, you know, I came out of that, and she says, okay, I get it. I get it. Cause you walking around plotting mad. So I had to learn how to control that. And also your name is Ice. So when you know name is Ice, you kind of known for having a low, you know, but I always was the kind of cat that as soon as somebody would do something that I didn't like, I would start plotting on how to get back at them. They would never know I was angry at them. I would just be like on some old methodical, diabolical shit, you know, and it might take a year, it might take 5 years, but something's going, but now I've even let go of revenge, because revenge holds area in your head. Now you're thinking about it. So you know, that now they still got you in your head. So now I'm kind of like revenge based if the opportunity presents itself.
I said, never let no one live in your head rent free. If I was mad at you, Ice, and I wanted to kill you, and I drink the poison, guess what? I'm gonna die. You ain't gonna die. So sometimes it's good to let it go. Like I said, it's even good in saying goodbye, you know. And I think that that's the most emotion. You never make a decision when you're emotional. You know, never make an emotional decision. You always got to step back and just, you know, divorce yourself from the situation. And then
that's why I always say, I tell cats, I say, women are emotional, men tend to be logical. A man will hold a gun and say, well, if I shoot this motherfucker, I am gonna go to prison. The woman will shoot you, then cry about it, like, oh, what did I do? Oh, my baby. Like, you know, so if a woman got a knife,
call the police on you. Or call the police on you. You're trying to talk the police out of not taking you to jail.
Yeah, it's like a dope fiend holding a gun. Like, I know this person might just shoot it, you know, like, I'm more concerned with her with that knife, you know, like, hold up, baby, because you'll kill me and then cry about it. Okay, let's go on.
Now, I got a question for you, though, Ice. In Atlanta, we're dealing with a lot of artists getting RICOs right now. Being that you did a lot of gangster shit and was surrounded by a lot of gangsters yourself, how did you keep from getting indicted, and what advice do you have for new artists nowadays?
Well, I said this on podcast with Big Court. First off, like I said, anything that's illegal should remain a secret. You don't talk about it. You don't talk about it. The best criminals is when the people get busted, people go, what? They were doing what? They didn't see what? You know, we have a habit of wanting to tell everybody everything we do. That's some bullshit. But that's the downfall of most criminals, is they steal a lot of money, and they start an extravagant lifestyle that they really can't prove. But with me, the minute I started making records, I cut all ties with anything illegal. It was like, I'm done. Everybody knows I'm making records. It's over. It's over. It's over. And I also told my friends, don't even come around me and talk about it. Consider me bugged. Think like right now the police are watching me, and I don't want to be the cause of you going to jail. Don't tell me nothing. I'm not involved anymore. I don't need to know about it. A matter of fact, I prefer not to know about it. If I got pulled in, I want to be able to pass a polygraph. They ask me, you know, what's going on with Kenny. I don't know. I don't know. Put me on the polygraph. I don't know. So like I was saying on the other one, don't just hang around me and segue into some murder or something. You know, the other night we shot them niggas. Yo, dog. I don't want to hear this shit. Don't tell me it. Because now I'm in another life. Now, the youngsters that are getting caught up, we call that bow-legged in my life days. We call that bow-legged. That's one foot in the street, you know, one in the legit world. The other one in the street, we always say with one foot on the grave and that foot's on a banana peel. You know, it's just so you can't do it. You gotta stop. Now, let's look at I'll give you a good example. Michael Vick. $100 million football deal, and his boys are still fighting pit bulls in Atlanta. And when they bust the pit bull ring, Mike goes down. I think his friends were being disrespectful to his situation. I think that, yo, my man is doing it big. Why are we doing this bullshit? And if we did do the bullshit and we got caught, we need to take that rap. We need to take that. He didn't know nothing about it. You get what I'm saying? So you have to control your friends around you. And fortunately, I had a group of friends that really insulated me from shit. When I started coming up, they was like, don't bring that shit around Ice. Don't come around Ice like that. We ain't moving like that. That's how I did it. I stopped all my, and you know, the thing was, that's why I was able to rap about it so freely, because I wasn't doing it no more. And I made it clear in my records that I'm talking about past situations. You know, there are things called statute of limitations. The only thing that doesn't have statute of limitation is murder and forcible rape.
Nice. Do you ever get the urge? I mean, before you really made it big on Law and Order and you started receiving a lot of money, have you ever had the urge to go back and hustle with Spike now, and go out there and hit one more lick, just one more lick?
No, you know why? Because I know. See, you have to raise the risk to raise the I mean, you have to raise the risk to raise the profit. Mm-hmm. So as youngsters, we could go out and hit a lick for 200,000. Everybody get 50K. We cool, right? But let's say us five right here decide we gonna do something. Each one of us want $1 million. Kenny, you doing something for under $1 million? No, cash. All right, now, if all five of us is going after $1 million cash, that's 5 million cash. That lick, somebody might die. Got me? So that means, is it worth being on the run for the rest of your life for $1 million? Is that worth it? That you never see your family again? You see heat, you got to be willing to walk away from everything you love, go down to motherfucking Brazil or some bullshit under. No. So what it was worth back in the day, no, I would never trade it. I made one of the illest licks of all time. I Escaped the Hood. Wow. That was the big lick. And wow. I don't need the money. I'm not excited about things. I bought the cars, sold them, got rid of them. I don't even wear jewelry. Like, it's like all those, a lot of the things you want because you never had them. Once you get them, they lose their excitement. It's like, you know, all of us probably had big diamonds. You wore big diamonds. You don't wear them no more. No. Nah, because it was something to have it. Then it's like, I'd rather have it in the bank. You feel me? So, no. Now I'll tell you what I do, Kenny. I can case the fuck out of a lick, though. I can case the fuck out of a lick. I can walk into some shit and be like, yep, we could do that, and there's a snake, this, that. Because that's just instinct. I'd be like, wow, this, boom, bam. But as far as putting it down, no.
Yeah.
No, you know what? God, hold on one thing. God looks out for fools and children. And when I was doing that, I was a fool and I was a kid. Now that I know what I was risking, I would get caught.
Ice, speaking of, you said you can case out the joint, that's a talent of yours. Has being on Law and Order taught you anything about being a cop on that side of the, on that side of the bed than you knew before you got into it? Like, do now when you look at a cop, you be like, I kind of understand, what they were dealing with versus back in the day, it was like, fuck them.
No, I don't have, I know how they tick now better.
Okay.
But one thing I learned from Law and Order is don't go to trial if you ain't got money.
Wow.
You don't go to trial with no public defender. That's a joke. You got to have money. The only people you ever want to see walk out of those jury trials with a win, they had enough money and the right attorneys. When you seen OJ, he had like $10 million worth of attorneys up there. You know what I'm saying? So, but what I do learn, I've known this for a while though. Cops take advantage of people they think they could fuck over. It's not as racist as you think. They just look at you as, can you fight back or not?
Wow.
That's really, so when you watch Law and Order, they'll say, go check on these people. They're from the Upper East Side, which is the rich part of New York. But then they'll go, tread lightly. What they're really saying is they can sue us. They got money. Watch how you move with these people. They have money. But when you're in the ghetto, treat them any old way.
Wow.
Because they can't fight back. So when the cop pulls you over, they're assessing who you are. They're really figuring out not whether you're black or not. If you're black and you say, my father's a senator, they back off.
Right.
Follow me? Because they know you can fight back. It's not the jewels, it's not the money. They know when real money is coming into play, real hardcore money. So it has much more to do, like I say, when it comes to the poor, no lives matter. They treat poor white people the same way they treat niggas. They just figure like, you can't fight back. Now, what I did is like my cars are all registered to Ice-T Touring. I did that so when I'm getting pulled over, they know who they're pulling over. All right? They can be assholes, but they know who it is. Because I'm like Chris Rock. Chris Rock says, I'm famous from about 10 feet away in good light. You know what I'm saying? And on a night when I got a car full of niggas, they could just pull up and want to start shooting. I don't know. So, but it's more about them playing who they can fuck over and what they can get away with. And when we now start marching, when they fucking with just normal kids in the street, they know there's going to be some kind of blowback, and that makes them handle their business differently because they know that we're watching them. So when you see the cops on somebody, just pull out your camera, let them know, hey, we watching your punk ass. You understand me? We watching your punk ass. Now, I don't have any different change of feeling for the cops because, see, I never hated the cops.
Okay.
I never hated the cops. I was real life criminals, so to us, the cops were the opponent. They were not the enemy, they were the opponent. It's a big difference. If us three decide we're gonna rob a bank, we know that shit's illegal, but we're gonna do it anyway. They are the opponent. We gotta beat them. We gotta outsmart them. We gotta get around them. If we fuck up and they catch us, then we cuff up like gangsters and we play Law and Order. Now we gonna play that game. We're not mad at them. If I'm selling coke, the cops create the margin. If coke's legal, we can't make no money. So we know it has to be illegal for us to get more money. So when you mad at the police, you mad at the wrong thing. Be mad at the law. Be mad at the law. We don't even know what laws are being made. They're happening every day. But my thing is like, I hate bullies. I hate racists. And I don't give a fuck if they got a badge or not. I don't like bullies and I don't like racist motherfuckers. If they happen to have on a badge, then that's who I hate. You dig? But all cops ain't assholes. Some of them, we've all gotten passes. We've all gotten passes. Some of them come right out the hood. And honest to God, truth, you know, if without law and order, this fucking place would be a zoo.
Wow.
The transition from hip hop to law and order in television and film, what was it that made you say, you know what, I need to take these talents to the big screen?
Man, listen, man, everything that ever happened in my life just happened out of nowhere, man. Like, you know, I started rapping because it was an opportunity to do something other than robbing and stealing shit. They asked me to be in New Jack City because there weren't enough black actors for that movie. Wesley Snipes had only done Major League, or maybe a Spike Lee joint. They said, well, fuck it, Ice-T sold millions of records. Chris Rock, he's the new up and coming comedian. Fuck it, let's see if this will translate into box office seats. And that movie did. And movies, if you're in a movie and it does good, you're going to be in another movie. Right. It's just how it works. And I learned how to act. I started to like it. I said, oh, this is kind of fun. People really dug it. You know, one of my mottos, homie, is you don't guide life, you ride life, you know? I would have never in a million years thought I would be acting, more or less playing the motherfucking police, like really. But when I did New Jack City, they had me play the police. You know, I think if you take a street cat and you turn him into a cop, he acts more like a cop than an actor acting like a cop, because the cops act gangster. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I'm saying? So if you get a square and try to make him act like a cop, he ain't gonna have that swag that the cops got. Cops got a swag to them because they fuck with gangsters all day. So make gangsters into cops and you get that ill police that we know so well, you know?
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite Ice-T movies is Surviving the Game. I just got to ask you about that one right there. What was it like shooting that?
I almost didn't get that movie because of reverse racism.
Oh.
Almost. When they wanted me to do the movie and the writer was like, I don't want to hunt black people. I don't want to hunt black people. This is not a racist movie. And my black ass was sitting in there saying, it's okay to hunt black people. I wanted the job, right? I was like, no, it's okay. It's okay. You can hunt black people.
You don't understand.
So what they did in the movie when they went into the cabin with all the heads, they were all white heads. Because that the writer was adamantly saying this can't be about race. This is all about class. It was fun, man. That was like one of my movies. The first movie, I was the star, working with Charles Dutton and Rutger Hauer, rest in peace. They chased my black ass. What you saw is what happened. For 10 weeks, they had me running around the woods and motherfuckers was chasing my black ass. It was fun. It was fun.
I can dig it.
All right, so this is my last question for you, man. I saw when you were in the military for 4 years. Am I correct with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Would you suggest, you know, I have a son. Son has been shot 8 times.
What?
Yeah, he well, in one incident, he got shot 8 times, not 8 different times. He has been to prison twice at 22. And I suggested, you know, before he went to prison, that, man, you need to go to the military. And he's doing, man, I don't, you know, Pops, I don't want to go down here and go out to the military and fight for a country that don't love me and blah, blah. I said, no, it's not about that. One, you can further the education. And 2, it'll give you the discipline, because you need to be humble. You don't take authority well. So therefore you don't know how to deal with problems when there's a real man in your life telling you something that's correct. And a lot of our youth are like that. They you know, they rather talk back. You know, if Ice-T says this right here, oh man, he don't know what he's talking about. And my question to you would be, you know, if you had to do all over again, would you go back in the military and did that discipline that it gave you, were you able to utilize that in life and dealing with people?
Let's put it like this. I don't know if I would voluntarily go back in the military, but I'm glad I did.
Mm.
It gave me a lot of learn how to create a plan. You know how you have when you're in jail, you get a routine you get used to doing. I learned how to do routine. I learned how to problem solve in there. That's the first place I learned. They say hustlers don't complain, they figure it out. Mm-hmm. In the military, they say overcome, adapt, improvise. Mm-hmm. So you learn how to handle situations. It's interesting. I did 2 years in, 2 years out. I did 2 years in because my girl had gotten pregnant and I needed to get off the street. I just didn't want to go to jail. I was doing petty crimes and I felt I needed to do something responsible with my life, and I went in. But then after about 2 years, I realized it wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. I never went downrange. I never went to combat. I was 25th Infantry. So I was basically running around Army soldier shit. The thing of it is about the Army, you got to want to do it.
Right.
If he doesn't want to do it, he won't be. It's like being on a football team. If you don't want to if you don't want to play, as soon as the coach penalizes you, you're going to quit. As soon as he tells you to run some laps, you're going to quit. The people in the Army want to be in the Army. If you saw G.I. Jane, they're like, ring the bell, get out, quit. You have to have that mental that I am not going to quit. I am going to finish this task. And at that point, I wanted to be in there. I knew that was where I needed to be. I always say that that or prison will straighten you out. But see, the thing of it is, you just say he's been to prison.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's already been in prison. My thing was with him, we've gotten past that. It's more about the youth now. And just to clarify the question, from you, if there is a troubled youth, would the military be a good option to instill those type of disciplines in them, like you said, work ethic, making a plan?
I just have a problem with the military because at some point you might get killed.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's like a college you go into, you're learning all this stuff, but at any moment they can deploy your ass downrange and shit could get hot. And it ain't like a video game, like where you respawn. So it's a high risk situation. Now, right now, I went in during peacetime, but now there's an active war everywhere. You don't know the troops are out there, but if you're getting shot at in the military, we call that being downrange. So there's a lot of people that are actually downrange, and we don't even know about it. Now, some people are cut for it. Some people like that action. Like you say, you about that life. There's soldiers in there. There's motherfuckers that just want that smoke. Like they don't care. They live in that shit. All the different like you see about SEAL teams and all them motherfuckers. Those motherfuckers just like to go kill.
Wow.
They're on a whole nother channel. But then they have a problem adapting when they come back home because they've been now reprogrammed to just handling everything by dispatching shit. And when they come home, a lot of those soldiers are committing suicide, because they're having to deal with the demons of what they did. Military has its pros, but I would only advise somebody going there if that's something they really want to do, if that's something they really feel that they feel, and in the military, they do something really tricky is no one's all the same religion. So they insert this thing called patriotism. And patriotism becomes the religion because you've got Asian people, Black people, Jewish people, all these different people. So you can't go under God, you go under patriotism. And patriotism becomes the religion.
Gotcha.
And you basically are fighting for everybody's freedom. That's what you're fighting for, to keep America the way it is. As he said, I'm a Black kid. It's not really that great for me. I don't really realize what I'm fighting for. I understand that too.
Ice, what can you tell us about the audience out there, about something about the book that people are really going to enjoy and Can you give us a little synopsis on the book?
Split Decision is a book about myself and my crime partner Spike, and it starts off and it gives you a lot of insight on Ice-T before I started making records. Some of the stuff I did, I was never a killer. I was just in the streets trying to survive. I'm not a gangbanger, but I lived amongst the gangs of Los Angeles. And Spike was my partner, and one of my partners of many. And there was a point in my life where I decided that rap was going to be an option for me, and I decided to cut ties with all criminal activity. Spike wanted to do that. He was a rapper too, but he felt he needed to save up some money or get some money or hustle up some money before that. He sent 2 crews on 2 jewelry licks out of town. He felt that he wasn't there, so he would just mastermind him. Well, in the course of one of the licks, somebody got murdered. And they gave Spike the, you don't have to be the murderer in these crimes. All you have to do is be the person that sent the people to do it. And you get that mastermind thing. Charles Manson never killed nobody. They'll put you in jail forever. And they wanted to give Spike a life sentence. He ended up getting a 35 to life. And I stayed down with him. He was my boy. I was there with him the whole ride. And when he came home, he said, man, I want to do something. I want to warn some kids about this life that I chose and the difference in the routes we took. So Split Decision is a cautionary tale of 2 young brothers from South Central's lives that show you that one little split decision can change the trajectory of your whole life. And it's so easy to get a life sentence. I was just reading on the internet today, some kid, 20-year-old, just got 25 years. So, you're out in these streets and you busting your guns and them bullets end up someplace. And if they happen to kill somebody or a bystander or something like that, that might have been cool that night. You might have looked cool in front of your homeboys. It might have been gangster to you at that moment, but it's a wrap. Your whole life is going to be gone and for that moment. So you have to know when you're making these decisions. You have to use your gut. And so hopefully people will read it. People that are my fans might get a better insight on who I really am. And I think it should be mandatory reading in schools.
I got a question from the book as well. In the book, you talked about both of your parents passing from heart attacks, man. I wanted to know, how did that impact you with relationships and just internally moving forward with your life after that? And how were you able to overcome that as well?
Well, my mother passed when I was in the 3rd grade. So when your parents die that young, you don't really have that much experience with them. I mean, right now, you probably can't think back to when you were 5 or 6 or 7. So your brain is, your memory, our memories really kick in around 11 or 12. If you think back when you were, a youngster, a toddler, you might remember a toy, you might remember a moment, but you don't have vivid, like in your teens, you start to remember all through high school and stuff. So I'm not gonna say fortunate, but my parents passed when I was still so young that it didn't weigh on me. I think the way a lot of people who are adults that have their parents, it's harder. So my mother died when I was in the 3rd grade. I lived with my father. My father passed when I was in the 7th grade, and I was shipped to Los Angeles to live with his sister. I think it just kind of affected me in a way like, why am I getting dealt these bad hands? Like, why am I, out of everybody, don't have parents? Like, how did I end up in this situation? I left my aunt's house when I was 17. My father was getting Social Security, and I got $250 from her. I spent $100 on rent, another $100 to buy food, and I had $50. I was still in the 12th grade. And I've never lived with a relative or in any other person's house or roof my entire life. I've taken care of myself from 17 on till today. So my survival skills are different than other people's. Even my friends who was out hustling with me, they go home and sleep on the couch or go home to their bedroom, or moms would make them a plate or all that old kind of shit. I never had that. I disconnected from Christmas and holidays. I would never celebrate them because I never wanted to be in someone else's house. So, you know, honestly, it took me a while for me to even understand what family was, you know, and my boys and my friends. That's why people talk about gangs, but gangs are surrogate families. For a lot of kids that don't have fathers and don't have, you know, that got a broken home, they connect in these packs like wolves. We packs of kids. And I was one of them kids growing up. But see, you got to remember, look at me, man. I'm light skinned. I got light eyes. So I had to teach everybody everything with light eyes ain't to be fucked. So I had to be a little bit more hard than the other cats, you know, because I don't look hard. So I had to prove myself around, especially dark-skinned niggas. Dark-skinned niggas always want to take off on light-skinned niggas. So I had to learn how to fight and defend myself. You know, I'm 6 foot right now, 220. So I'm not afraid of anybody.
Damn right.
Anybody, but you know, I survived. That's what I like to tell people all the time. I'm never trying to tell you I'm a tough guy. I just maybe ducked that one fade that might have got me killed. I might have got out of that room just early enough. But I had to, because I didn't have any brothers or sisters or nobody else.
The rush from the illegal money and the legal money, which one was better?
That's a trick question. There's nothing that compares to the rush of illegal money. I mean, there's nothing, because you got away with it. It's like stealing a cookie from the cookie jar. That's what's so bad about it. That's what's so intoxicating about that shit. Getting away with. See, if the first time you commit a crime, you got caught, you never do it again. But if you get away with it, it builds your ego, and you start to think. I know drug dealers that think it's legal. I mean, they've been getting away with it so long, they sloppy with it. They, you know, like I say, when the first time you ever drove a car, you got both hands on the steering wheel. You're driving like that. You know, 5 years later, you like this. You talking to a bitch. You know, you one. You know, and that's how the game is. You start off, you on point. Everything's on point. I mean, I done got in niggas' cars. They had key of cocaine sitting in the front seat right next to them. I'm like, nigga, really? Like, what? Oh, nigga, that's where I could just throw this shit, man. Fuck it in the trunk. I throw it. You know, I'm like, wow. So, that's a rush. But there's another rush. It's a rush of being pulled over by the police and giving you the registration and knowing they ain't got shit on you. Nothing. Go the fuck away. Leave me the fuck alone. And right now, you know, I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, we got legit money. We made money. We cool. Ain't nobody running up in this house. Ain't nothing to steal. What you gonna steal? The TV? You want the money? It's in the bank. I don't have no money. Ain't no safes. What's happening? You know what I'm saying? You want this watch? It's insured. Take it, please. Go. I don't live in a square life. You don't have as many demons and clouds over you. Now, if I'm hustling, I'm always worried. I'm worried about the jackers. I'm worried about the feds. I'm worried about the snitches. I'm sleeping. I slept with guns. I carried a gun so long I had a bruise in my fucking leg. I already know that life. Fuck that life. If you could get out of it, get out. Anyone who's still in it, do everything you can to escape it. Don't get comfortable in it. Don't get comfortable in it and think, yeah, I'm a D-boy for life. I'm this, that, and the third. No. You know why? If everybody in the streets know who you are, so do the cops.
Wow.
Another question. I was like, Rick, did you have something? Because I got plenty of
I have nothing. I have nothing.
James, you got a question, James?
Well, let me get back in here right quick. From Tupac to Takeoff from the Migos, okay? They both had split decisions that cost them their lives. As an OG in the game, Ice, who were the artists that took the advice that you gave them, and who were the ones that didn't listen?
I'm not going to talk any negativity. I don't know who didn't listen. I mean, they're in the news, you know, like, you know, you hear that every single day. But 50 Cent, Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, you know, Snoop Dogg was active, you know, and I'm talking about cats that were active or claimed to be active. Scarface, you know, I think the list goes on because I don't really know how many people were involved in crime or whatever, but there's tons of rappers that have made a transition, tons, Puffy, all, you know, and become super moguls in this shit, you know? I mean, it's just a question of really, I think it's not only a question of you, but do you control the people around you? Like, I could be like this, but I could have a bunch of homies that are just really disrespectful and they don't care. If I go out to the club tonight and I'm with my niggas and they shoot the club up, Ice-T and them shot the club up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to have control over your crew too. They have to respect you, you know? And I've always been the boss out of my crew. There was no one ever above me and my crew that could call a shot, you know? And I know certain people in my crew I can't take everywhere. I just know certain niggas I can't take everywhere. I might be able to take Kenny to a black tie event. Some of my niggas will eat the furniture. Them niggas don't know nothing about that type of shit. They, you know, they just want the combat calls. They don't know what that shit is, but I love them. So you have to know what friends to bring around what shit. But just to anybody that's listening, you know, if you decide to get into show business, you got to leave the other shit alone. Because show business is what it is. It's show business. People are going to be in your business. People are going to want to know everything about you. People are going to start watching you. And they're going to tell.
I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one.
Huh?
Who said that, Ice?
What?
I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one.
You know what? The funny thing about that is the podcasts and out there trying to make that into some kind of beef, and it's not beef at all. You know?
Yeah, I saw that with you and Jay.
It's not. It's just a story, you know. But I think people didn't know that I had made the record before with Brother Marquise, and that Jay had remade the record. That they wanted to be beef, but it's not beef. Jay-Z paid for the publishing to it, you know, and it was just like anybody else remakes the record. I told Jay-Z at the Grammys, I said, because he thought I was mad because the press has made it into beef. Like, I think right now, everybody likes beef. They like to create shit. Like, Ice is mad at, no, I'm not. Fucking Jay-Z's my man, right? But I told the story. And Jay said to me, he said, Ice, man, you know I love you. I said, Jay-Z, this is not my design. They asked me the question, I told the story. And he goes, I said, but at the end of the record, you could have said Ice, you know. But, you know, no hard feelings. But you got to watch right now with the media, you know, they'll cut and chop this interview. You'll put out the interview right. They'll cut and chop this motherfucker up to make me look bad or to make me look like an asshole or to make it seem like I took off on somebody or, you know, and that's counterproductive because that's not my motion. That's not, see, one thing about me, if I want to diss a nigga, I'll diss a nigga. I have no fucking problem with saying, fuck you, bitch ass motherfucker. I don't have a problem with that. Right. But I don't need unnecessary beef with niggas. It's not real. It's bullshit. I have no beef with nobody. I got no ops, none of that.
How do you deal with the media, Ice, mentally? When you see those lies, you see them, you know, trying to get you entangled in all of this bullshit. How do you deal with that?
I don't really trip off of it because I think your character rises you above all lies told against you. I think even if you guys know me after you chopped it up with me and you heard some bullshit, you say, Ice didn't say that.
Right.
So I think my fans know me well enough to know my get down and know I'm not with the goofy shit. You know what I'm saying? And they wouldn't let it happen. So I'm like, once again, I'm insulated by real people that know what's up. The problem is with this press shit is they'll say some shit, but when you reply, you make them famous. When you reply, you can't. You just got to let it go. You got to let it go because they'll have you. They want to try to trigger you. They want to clickbait you into commenting. It's a fucked up way to get paid. I mean, you guys have talked to me for an hour and haven't asked me any corny shit. These bloggers that get up to just try to cause controversy, I don't see how they look at themselves in the mirror. I'm like, that's some real bitch shit. Like, you a grown ass man and you really trying to cause drama with niggas. Well, you heard homie said this, so what you finna do? I'm getting nigga, that's some bitch shit. That's some real bitch shit.
Ice, I gotta go back to when you said you grew up, your mama died at 7 and your daddy died when you were 17. We know that.
No. Coco had the numbers wrong. My mother died when I was in the 3rd grade. I don't even know what age that was. Okay. My father died when I was in the 7th grade. I think that's 11, 12.
Okay, so I know when most children is born, you know, they either breastfed or the mother's always there to nurture them and, you know, give them that loving and caring. You know, like I grew up with 9 brothers and sisters. So by the time I'm 13 or 14, my mother and my father can like, y'all go for yourself. So at that point, we become self-absorbed. And, you know, we start, you know, become a little narcissistic. And we all narcissistic. If a person says they're not narcissistic, that's the example that you are narcissistic. You know, we're all a little narcissistic. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, I became self-absorbed. Then I began to develop confidence because my mother no longer gave me that confidence. And that's the case with most people. Most of the things that we go through is probably some examples, something that happened in our childhood. So you said your mother died when you was in the 3rd grade, your father died when you was 7th grade. Do you think that that's where you get that confidence from because you didn't have that support system? And a lot of us have support systems coming up as children, and then once that support system leaves, you know, because I know you done seen cases, and maybe even in your own, you got kids. You know, your kids get a certain age, you like, my nigga, you on your own, you know what I'm saying? You know, and then now they have to go out there and do their own thing. So do you think at that young age, not experiencing that family structure where your father just, you know, was there for you at your football games, at your basketball games, you know, take you to the amusement park, do you think that created that confidence in you, and that confidence sometimes can be mistaken as you're a narcissist or something?
No, I don't think so, Kenny. I think with me, it just, reality hit me early. I just knew I had to survive, and I knew I didn't have nowhere to go. You know, and I was trying to figure it out. You know, like when I was in high school, I graduated early out of high school. I was A and B student. I was pretty smart because I learned that early in school, the smarter person had a better advantage in this shit. And I wanted to do auto body and fender. I wanted to work on cars. You know, and I learned how to paint cars. I went to Trade Tech College for a year to learn how to do body and fender. That's how I thought I was going to do. But then around me, these hustlers and players were just around me, just getting this money, and I kind of got, as Iceberg Slim says, street poison. You know, I'm working on these low riders. I want one. You know, like these niggas is pulling up with all the money. And those are your role models. You know, there's no doctors or lawyers, they're just players. And I got intrigued with them, and it just took me down that road, you know, like, but nah, I don't know about my parents or anything. I just think that I've always been somebody that's really relied on himself. And I lose respect for people that can't handle that can't make it.
Right.
You know, when I see grown men And I'm just like, nigga, you having a problem getting money? Like, I don't really get that. Like, I'm like, you know, niggas borrowing money. Like, you borrow what, $500? That means you don't got $500.
Right.
How could you be a grown ass nigga and you ain't got $500? How could you leave the house without $500? My hustle is based on like get your weight up, nigga, like around me. You know, now maybe you might need 20,000. I get that. You ain't got that. But when you need $100, nigga, that you should never ask nobody for $100. That's a bad look. You know? So but I don't know, man. I don't really know what made me, but I think I'm hard on my kids because, you know, because I didn't have a family like that. I'm not as compassionate as I should be. You know, I'm a little harder on them than maybe I should be, but I love them to death. But
that's the same thing with me. You know, coming from the pimp game, right?
mm-hmm.
You know, when my mother kind of like stopped taking care of me, she made me a little cold hearted,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like I was out there on my own, and I was looking for that compassion, that love, and so I didn't have no compassion. I think I went to the doctor and had a triple bypass. I said, take all the sympathy out of my heart, you know. so I'm out there mashing like an Idaho potato, and you know, you was there, you see me. You know, a lot of people say, you know, like you know, Spike, you know me. The first time we met, I had 3 bad bras.
No, you was proper. You had a little situation going.
So you know what I'm saying, but is though, even though those women, you know, would be a lot of guys bottom or they main girl, you know, I didn't have no sympathy. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of understand what you're saying. You know, that's why I said, you know, a lot of children that are sheltered and their parents, like Donald Trump kids, those are sheltered children. You know, a lot of children are sheltered. You know, when you shelter those kids, you know, I think it kind of fuck them up. So what I'm saying, the fact that my mother kind of kicked me out the nest as a bird do when they get a certain age, I think that's the reason why I'm so ambitious, and that's the reason why you always say to me, Ken, if you can win again. I think that's what makes us winners. I'm just, you know, kind of like summarizing it, you know, from our perspective.
I had
one more thing, Ice. One more thing. A lot of people want me to, a lot of brothers, we got, you know, you the first member of the hip hop fraternity and you the national advisor. A lot of people want you to just say, you know, something about the hip hop fraternity, man. Get a brother some spirit out there in our organization.
Hey, look, shout out to the hip hop fraternity. You know, Kenny Ivey decided to put this thing together to get some type of unity amongst people in hip hop because you need it. You need it. This is not a game where you go out and play alone. Clicks win, you know? So this whole idea, he said, it's all about positivity and giving some of you a chance to help each other move up. There will be a star that's going to be born right out of that hip hop fraternity. And, you know, it's a good look. And I'm supporting anything positive right now. I support anything that's got that good energy. So you guys are very lucky to have somebody like Kenny involved, somebody that really cares and really can move and shake this goddamn world. Kenny is not a game at all, Mr. Ivey.
Thank you, brother. Our national advisor, Ice-T. You dig.
You dig. You dig.
This is my last question, Ice. Being in the industry for so damn long, man, were there ever any times that you wanted to walk away from this thing or that it got too overwhelming?
I mean, not walk away from it, but the game is fucked up. You know, it's. I was watching an interview with Nipsey Hussle, and he said, "You're gonna go through all the emotions. You're gonna go through all the emotions. You're gonna go through the highs of winning. You're gonna go through the lows of what's going on. Things are changing, shit's shifting. I mean, honestly, right now, I've kind of politely pulled myself back from hip hop. You know, politely. You know, I haven't put out an album. I've been doing little stuff, but you know, they quoted me in Vibes saying that hip hop got weird. I think they said I called it goofy and soft. I don't know what I said that day, but not necessarily soft, because you got a lot of these hardcore gangster rappers out here still getting it. It just changed to me. It just changed, and I didn't feel comfortable in the space. Now I think it's coming back. I think lyricism is coming back. A lot of the boom bap rap is coming back, and that's something that I do. I do that. But when it kind of got ringtone-y and it's kind of got weird, I was like, nah, you know. But you go through all the emotions, man, in this game. You know, you'll question yourself. You know, you're dealing with shady people in the industry, shady this, shady that. I think, hey, if you're from the streets, you cut for this shit.
Yeah.
You cut for this shit because it's just not simple on any level. I was just talking to one of my artists today, and I said to him, I said, the one thing you got to remember is anybody you're dealing with personally or business is dealing with a lot of shit, personal and business, not just you.
Mm-hmm.
So me and you could have this conversation. I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know really where you are mentally or finance. I don't know, but I just think, oh, well, whatever our business is, that's all that matters. No, it's one thing on your plate. So sometimes, you know, this shit is difficult, but at the end of the day, the strong will survive. You have to stay down. You got it. Russell Simmons said it best. You can't wake up every morning with a new hustle.
Mm.
You got to figure out what you're trying to do to maximize it and put the time in to really, you know, master it. You can't just say like Kenny, like Kenny, oh, I'm gonna be in the books today. I'm gonna be in that tomorrow. No, he's been in publishing for a minute and he likes it, and he's creating his niche in that area. He's backed by the biggest publisher in the world, Simon and Schuster,
Mm-hmm.
and he is a liaison to the streets, and they want books from us. He's perfectly placed himself. This is a person from the streets.
Come on.
Finding a new way that he can use his knowledge and his expertise in the world, and not without penitentiary chances, man. Come on, man. Them shits is played out, Jack. I think the funny thing about crime is when you're 20, you feel like you can give them 10. Fuck it, I give. That's why I don't fuck with 20-year-old niggas. Like, give me 10, nigga. Fuck it. You know, it's 15. Once you hit 40, you be like, nigga, that's a life sentence, nigga. I'm not jaywalking. Are you crazy? Yeah, we do soften up, you know, a little bit. I think we get our priorities more. And if I think once you make it, you know, I think once as a black man makes it past 35,
Mm-hmm.
you say, I probably won't go to jail. I probably won't get shot because I'm not out on the front lines every night anymore. Now I got to worry about my health. Now I got to worry about mortality. Now I got to worry about things like taking care of my family. And when you get in this second half of life, everything kind of refocuses. Now you're talking back to your kids, but they're where we were.
Hey, I want to just let the people out there. This is not no promotion. I just want to let the people know that you invited all us to New Jersey and you fed the entire hip hop fraternity. Can you tell them about that, man? Hey, I know that bill is about 10,000. Hey,
you know, you don't invite
brother James on there too. You see James right there at the bottom, the one that was at the meet with us at Simon Schuster.
Hey, you don't invite people to dinner if you can't pay the bill, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't go out to say, hey, let's all come over here to my house to party and I'm not providing the food. It's like that was what it was. So you had your crew out here and I'm like, let's go to a restaurant. But that, yeah, you know.
Hey, Ice, how you doing, brother?
I treated y'all. You dig what I'm saying? You know, throw me something later on. Buy me a mink or some bullshit. You know?
I got you a mink. What color you want?
I don't know. I mean, surprise me, nigga. No, man. Hey, man. It's always a treat whenever I'm around you, Kenny. So, you know, at this point, we've lost so many friends, and the rest of them have gone out the way suckers do.
R.I.P. to Kenny Red.
No, not Kenny Red, but I'm saying, yeah, people that died, and then the other niggas that we have cut off for they bullshit. You feel me?
Yeah.
So now it's just a few of us, and I hold my few friends dearly. You know.
I rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies.
What you taught me, nigga? You know what I'm saying? When nigga told me, man, you know, all these niggas running around here. He said, Ice, man, you stay down with Coco, man. One damn bitch is worth 10 funky hoes, man. Please believe it.
Hey, you got something to say, James?
Yeah, how you doing, Ice? It's Cool Breeze, man.
How you doing, Breeze?
I'm good. I don't know if you know, but Ken appointed me as the president and national spokesperson for the hip hop fraternity, man. I'm glad to have you on board as well. I just want to ask you a question real quick. How do you feel about the drill rap scene and the culture of drill rap?
Well, drill rap is just another form of hardcore rap. I think drill rap is a reaction to us saying, hey, hip hop got soft, like hip hop got kind of poppy. And so then the kids come back with the drill rap. The difference in drill rap is like they mention a lot of things that are real. And they, instead of being crews, now you ops. And it gets kind of interesting. I have no problem with the rap. I just don't want them to act out the violence that goes along with it. You know what I'm saying? Because drill rap will be around and then it'll phase into something else and it'll phase into something else and it'll phase into something else. But I have no problem with people rapping. Whatever you're doing, you've made a decision to do something other than what you were doing, But I'm not going to sit back. I'm not C. Dolores Tucker. I'm not going to say, oh, this is bad rap and that's good rap. It's a result of what's happening. Like I say, it's a soundtrack to a lifestyle.
All right. Well, Ice, thank you so much for your time this evening, boss. Thank you. Ken, Ivan, you already know what time it is. Appreciate you too as well. HHF, what's happening? Ice-T,
HHF.
What up, though? James, I see you. Y'all take it easy. We're about to be up out of here, man. Have a great day, fellas.
Yeah, we got to do one thing.
What's
when
that?
I say HHF, we say HHF. HHF.
HHF.
HHF.
You did.